5, but we're still doing 5 because Jesus, He will always be with us. Hello, Camp Cascadia family, friends. Pastor Luke here for another Bible story time here in our chapel in the woods. Do you remember what our theme memory verse is for this week? While we are sheltering in place and quarantined at home, but having virtual Camp Cascadia from home this week. This is our verse from Isaiah 43, verse 1 and verse 5. Why don't you read it with me? Don't fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Don't fear. I am with you. Maybe when we get to the end of our time, we can try that with some parts of the verse memorized. We have another story from our Growing in God's Love story, Bible story book for us today. And we're continuing to think about the ways that God is with us, wherever we are, whatever we're going through, and wherever you are. And this is a story based on Luke, not this Luke, the Gospel of Luke. In the New Testament, Luke chapter 8, verses 22 through 25. And you can look it up there in your Bibles at home if you want to read the story from your Bibles. But here's this storybook version of that. This story is called Calming the Storm. One day the sun was hot and bright, and Jesus had a lovely thought. Let's pile into a little boat and have ourselves a little float. Across the lake upon the tide, we'll dock on the other side. The boat rocked gently in the breeze, side to side it swayed with ease. The water was so calm and deep, the waves rocked Jesus right to sleep. The wind picked up across the lake. The boat began to creak and shake. Rain poured down and waves grew tall, but Jesus slept right through it all. The group of friends was terrified as water filled the boat inside. Around their feet, now it's double. Without a doubt, they're in trouble. The storm raged on upon the lake. They shook their friend Jesus awake. Master, Master, they were crying, help us, we are surely dying. Jesus knew just what he would do. He gave those winds a talking to. He wagged his finger, shook his head, and told that storm to go to bed. The wind stopped howling. Just like that, the waves died down in seconds flat. The sun came out. The rain was gone. Once again, the water was calm. Amazed by what they'd seen and heard, the disciples couldn't say a word. Who is this man within our boat, who keeps our tiny ship afloat, who tells a storm to go away, and skies and clouds and rains obey? Here's a neat illustration, a picture for that story. Do you see the storm around the boat and Jesus asleep? Here's some questions that you can talk about at home. Questions about what we hear. Questions about what we see. and questions about how we act. What are some of the sounds you hear outside on a nice day? What are some of the sounds you hear right now? I hear some birds chirping. I hear the cars driving by on the freeway just over there. What sounds do you hear at your home? Now, what are some of the sounds that you hear during a storm? I bet you can even make some of those sounds for us right now. Those are some pretty great storm sounds. Now, how about some questions about what we see? Can you imagine a little boat in the middle of a big storm? How would it be moving? Maybe back and forth. What would it be like to be sitting in that boat? Here's some questions about how we act. Think of things that make you feel afraid. Who do you go to when you are feeling scared? What do they do to calm you? You know, those disciples woke up Jesus and talked to him when they were afraid in the storm. We don't have Jesus sleeping in a bed or on the couch in our house, but we can still go to Jesus. We can still talk to God when we are afraid. Because as we remember from our verse, God says to us, "Don't fear. I am with you." Maybe this story, and after hearing this story, you can think about what are ways that you can turn to and look to and pray to God about when you are feeling afraid. Let's close by doing our theme verse one more time. I'm going to put the words down as we start it, because I think you might know the very first words. Ready? Don't fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. What are the next words? Don't fear. I am with you. Isaiah 43, verses 1 and 5. We'll see you for our next story time. Thanks. We're in quarantine because of COVID-19. Camp Cascadia, it's like we've never seen. We're all online, but we're still doing fine because Jesus